Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene is going to be set in the Changeling Market located in the Northern Barony, or the Barony of Frozen Tears. There is a new face who is going to be joining the market. The first thing that will become apparent to I believe his name is Harold, isn't it, Anthony?
Harold to almost everyone, Harry to his very close friends.
All right, so Sir Harold will notice immediately upon entering the Changeling Market the fact that it bears on either side of its entrances to the trods to enter it the golden sun of House Verich, emblazoned in order to show its to denote its ownership. The thing that you will come to notice in the Changeling Market is it's very shabby in the sense that it is not well maintained, it is not well appointed. However, you see the fact that people are actively working to change that. So basically, like new stalls are being opened, and it is taking on a nicer air. Essentially, maybe this freehold was forgotten. Maybe it has only been just recently rediscovered or reoccupied. But they are clearly attempting to get it back on its feet. Essentially, there will be a number of shopkeepers who will be crying their wares. You know, come buy my fruit, and come buy my daughter. I don't know. Can they sell daughter? In old Soviet Russia, we can sell daughter. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
You can also sell son.
You sell no. To be fair, you sell son to Uncle Stalin. That's how this works. But yes. So as you approach nearer to the heart of the market, you will see a number. You'll see three people: a troll, a shorter individual who is out of character. He is a witchel because I had to make a witchel because I knew what they were. It is basically the Dreaming's equivalent of a dwarf, and a she who is kind of lounging. He has his leg hiked up over one arm of a high-backed chair that has been set out in the middle of the market next to the grand kind of little circle of stones in which the balefire is glinting away, doing its little glimmery thing. But upon seeing you, she kind of puts his leg down from where it is, because he looks you up and down because he doesn't know you, and will say, welcome, noble traveler. Do forgive. I don't know your face. I know many people's faces, but not yours.
Nor do I know yours.
Then I shall have to remedy that particular situation. As he stands up, you'll see the flash of gold from the circlet on his head that has a little amber gem right above the bridge of his nose, as shown in his picture, and he will say, "Where are manners? Baron Elixir Voidfrost et Verich, at your service."
He bows. Sir Harold Carmarthen ap Ilunid.
It's a pleasure to make acquaintance, sir. Are you new here? As I said, face I have not seen.
I'm relatively new. I've had a little to deal with of late, but nothing serious.
Ah, is good. Is good. But, tell me then. Come, would you drink?
I do, but not often. I confess myself rather poorly capable where drink is concerned.
Question, does your character speak Russian?
No.
Okay.
Well, technically, I could use naming and be able to speak Russian, but I'm not going to.
He will turn to the troll and he'll say something in Russian. The troll will you will understand the word "da" before he will walk away. He will return a few moments later carrying a large table under one arm, which he will slam down on the ground. He will also put down 2 shot glasses and a bottle of vodka. You'll join me in drink, da?
He'll think about that for a second. Da? Posed almost as a question.
Excellent. he will cork the bottle of vodka. For the record, this is very fine vodka. If you've ever actually, seen bottles of expensive vodka, before he will lash it out into the two glasses rather liberally. Stoll, he'll say as he raises his glass.
He'll go, Stoll. I'm not sure if that's the correct way of saying it, but he's going to say it that way. Because he knows speak of the Russian.
The Baron will then pound back the shot, so he'll take it in one kind of...
With a slight sigh, the knight will much more slowly, but he will drink it all in one, but he'll do it more slowly. And then put it down. You see his eyes like sort of tighten for a second. Incidentally, he has stamina 1. So that's the one drink he can do.
So, what brings you here on this fine afternoon? He'll say, pouring another drink for you, as he pours one for himself.
I'm just curious about what this market contains.
Point of clarification, you get 2 drinks per dot of stamina. After that, it's stamina diff 7 to resist taking penalties.
Ah, right. So he can, in fact, drink one more, but he's going to resist as much as possible without offending the Baron.
Continue drinking. I shall return.
So, what is it that you're looking for then?
Nothing quite particular for the moment. More a perusal, I suppose. Though, that being said, I am looking for the possible. Well, I suppose knowledge. Well, I say knowledge. You see, I've been curious of late as to whether or not I should go on a hunt in the dreaming.
What do you wish to hunt?
Well, I'm seeking dross, but a nice rug would be comfortable.
Why do you need dross?
Dross always has value, always has use. And besides, if my recent activities have taught me anything, it's that one can never have quite enough access to glamour, even if it isn't the form of dross.
Have you encountered something unpleasant then?
Nothing pleasant necessarily. More dangerous.
What is life without danger, though?
Longer.
But then again, the stories are very rarely written about brave Sir Robin who bravely stayed at home. Even in running away, there was something.
True. But running away tends to avoid danger.
You're a knight. Do you truly wish to avoid danger?
Yes, because I believe there to be a difference between danger and good cause. If I may use the example. If, for example, my master were to... If my liege were to be fired at by some mortal assassin, then me stepping in front of him to take the bullet is an act of good cause. It's dangerous, but an act of good cause. If, however, I decide that for fun I'm going to walk across a live firing range, that's dangerous, but without good cause.
And whom in that case is your liege lord?
Out of character, Austin hasn't told me.
You might have one.
He has one. Insert blah here.
Yes. Insert Baron
Actually,
Random
no, hold
of
on.
Baron Random.
You are...
App Random.
No, you are... I have it. I thought I put it in your blue book. I apologize. Where are you?
I don't think I've even received laws from you, Austin.
Sorry. You are... You follow under... I can type. This helps. I had to pull up my Google Doc. Your Baron is Animal Proudmore ni Ilunid. You follow who is under Reese Thornton ap Scathach.
Okay, I will repeat that.
The County of Rivers, which is the county that covers the north and northwest above Dublin.
Right. I will repeat that information.
It's good to see that you serve your own house as opposed to creating the complications that often happens when one is sworn to the liege lord not necessarily of their own.
Though my lord is in turn sworn to a liege of House Scathach.
Internally, he will say, well, we can't have everything we want, filthy traitors, but he won't say that out loud. Actually, wait, no, hang on. Austin, Scathach are like the assassins of changeling nobility, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are quiet. They stayed behind. They sided with mortals in certain political spats.
But
they
yeah,
murder real good.
He'll just smile because you filthy evil assassin house, but he's not gonna say that because that would be rude. You're not drinking. Is everything quite all right?
I just prefer to drink more slowly than most. I find that I enjoy drinking for company as opposed to drinking for the purposes of being able to see blue pixies that aren't actually there.
He'll point over at a tiny pixie, like not actually a pixie not a pisky, but a pixie in a cage at one of the market stalls, and he say, like that?
No, that one actually is there.
Excellent.
When I'm seeing those ones that aren't actually there, then I have reason to worry.
Duh. This makes sense. And so, what line of work are you in?
I'm, at the moment, just a scholar, working on improving my understanding of the magics of the dreaming. I suppose you could say I'm trying to find my story.
So you mean to tell me that you don't actually work in any kind of way in the grave world?
Not presently.
You support self?
I have a boggin and a troll. They tend to be able to help. but I spend most of my time at my freehold, so when the food and drink just arrived, I've never really wondered why. I should probably
Alexi,
ask.
who's like Alexi, who's like the most money-minded, she kind of balks at this concept. Is like, but how? But why?
Yeah, whereas Harold is much more of a classic noble in the sense of like, I know it comes from somewhere. Hmm.
I hope you never have to balance your own checkbook.
I really hope so too. From what I'm told, getting a job is extraordinarily banal. I'd prefer to avoid that. Much prefer to avoid it.
Da.
But what about yourself, Your Grace? I think it's Your Grace.
No, that's a duke. We actually had to work this out. Baron is my lord. Count is your excellency. Grace is your duke.
Okay. What about you, my lord?
I am, how would you say, a philanthropist and an investor.
Yeah, you have managed to find one of the few non-banal things about the mortal world. Gambling on money.
Well, that depends. Do you gamble?
Occasionally. Though, usually I have to have my boggin write things out, work it out for me, just to make sure I'm not making a mistake. But that's kind of what a housekeeper is for. Hmm.
Do you play chess, perhaps?
Yes, I do enjoy chess. It's rather
Would
fun.
you care? Would you care to perhaps play a game?
I would be honored.
Staybushke and Reshke Atske.
So you mentioned playing a game. There is a crack of thunder, and the skies go dark, as if filled with storm clouds. And there is a commotion to the west of you in the market.
I swear, if another, he says, I swear, if another Cluracon's gotten shit-faced and decided to, he stands up from his chair to kind of look with those baleful kind of crimson eyes that he has down to see what the commotion is.
Do you think you will require my aid, my lord?
Sorry, what was that, Austin?
There are a few chimera and what you would view as lesser kiths fleeing from the area of commotion. Boggins and satyrs being like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. One boggin runs by you, and you swear you hear him as he. If I don't see nothing, I can't say nothing.
Might I suggest seizing the boggin?
I was going to say, does he do that adorable little run that only Boggins can do?
With their teeny tiny legs.
Absolutely. Like, elbows never leave his rib cage. His feet never really leave his center mass. He just...
That makes my universe better. Alexi kind of does that. He does the head jerk movement to his troll bodyguard, and he's just going to be like, "We go and have a look at this."
Evan, this might also be a question for Austin. Would that boggin qualify as one of Evan's lessers in terms of his vassals, like a commoner under his house or his household?
Not of his household. You don't know anything really about who that commoner is, but it is a commoner kith in a society that is ruled by the Shi.
Right. In that case, stand up and going to bellow at the Boggin. You there! Come here!
No, can't see something. Can't see, can't talk.
There are
And he
moments
scurries
I
off in
wish,
a dust cloud.
there are moments I wish I had high levels of suffering.
But Alexi at this
I
point is
will
sweet.
kind of give you the. This is a Boggin who's no. You can guess from your previous experiences on his explicit words are can't see something, can't say something, not getting involved, not my problem. He's one of those loose-lipped, super gossipy Boggins, and he doesn't want to be caught in the middle of this shit.
Right.
Alexi kind of does. As I said, he does the head jerk to his troll, and he just sweeps down in that way that she do, with Cloak kind of billowing behind him as he just walks, rather annoyed. Like
For reference, I am carrying my sword.
I was going to say, for the record, because it's funny, his exact words were, "I swear to God, if this is another drunken Cluricon brawl, I don't know what I'm going to do."
Yep. Harold will walk at the other side of the Baron, his own coat billowing behind him.
So
Because
as
she
you
billow, man.
oh, they do. They billow and they gyre and they gimbal. As you approach the source of the commotion, there is a blast of electricity and of arcing energy that just rumbles. It knocks several people onto their backsides. It causes the hairs on the back of your neck to stand. And in the middle of a group, there is this individual. Hold on one second. Minicam is freezing up.
Yeah, I was doing that with me today.
Which is really weird. It doesn't do that usually.
Would I have to make a grey mare roll to identify what's being used, or can I just say that I know it's almost certainly Skycraft?
Oh, it is definitively Skycraft.
Right.
Oh, sweet Merfolk. Jesus.
Is that a chimera or a fucked up version of a puka?
That's a Merfolk, I think.
Yeah, and it is holding 4 severed heads of various chimera. Several of them, 2 of the heads are black with yellow eyes. The other one is purple, again, with yellow eyes. But that one looks to be wearing a cloth face mask of some sort. And the other is blue and covered with a big pointy helmet. And it is screaming incoherently.
The creature or the head?
The creature.
Right.
All right. Austin, this is going to be a terrible idea. And I emphasize the fact I know this is a terrible idea. Basically, Alexi draws himself up to his full height, and he will point his finger at the merfolk, and he will shout in his most commanding of she voices, and he will say, "Stop what you're doing immediately! I will be forced to respond." And then basically, I'm just going to roll to intimidate the damn thing. If it helps, Alexi is scary as fuck. So we'll see how this goes.
Alexi is what?
Scary as fuck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
so, give me just a second. To the dramatic systems.
Yeah.
All right, give me your charisma and your intimidation This will be at difficulty 8.
Cool. I knock the difficulty down by -1, I think. Yes, it's -1 because of Murderous Mean.
I took that into effect already.
Oh, okay. Fuck me.
It has a very high willpower.
I accept my life choices, Austin. It's fine. Let me just check his sheet, just so I can get my right numbies. Does my specialty of casual threats apply?
No, that was not a casual threat.
That is fair. I'm going to check what his charisma specialty is, because I can't actually remember. There it is. Alexis Woodfroch Verich. Where is it? No, his charisma specialty and captivating wouldn't really apply. So
not at all.
Cool. That's really weird. For some reason, my computer has completely frozen. So it'll kick back in a second, but until then, can one of you roll me 8d8 difficulty, whatever? What did you say, Austin?
I think Austin.
I got it.
And I'll spend a willpower. So.
Did you say 8d10?
Yeah, 8d10.
I got it. I'm rolling it.
Yep. Austin, if I wanted to just stand there, hand on sword, looking intimidating, to try and basically make the threat seem more real, in order to help Evan, could I roll appearance intimidation? Because I do have a specialty in commanding, so I'm not sure if that would apply.
So you would go,
because it's like these are his people, but I'm just sort of here backing him up. So I'll leave the command to him.
I would go. That would be more charisma. Roll me your charisma intimidation.
My computer is. Oh, continue. Sorry.
Okay.
So for Harold, roll me your charisma intimidation. Diff 6. For every success you get, you will add 1 dice to our dear Lord.
Right. I am going to struggle with this. I'm aware of that.
I was going to say I can now roll my own dice. By the way, my computer fixed itself.
Okay.
Ooh,
you got 3.
Yeah, on 3 dice.
So, that's pretty baller.
Yep. Apparently, the universe wants me to help you be intimidating.
All right. So, dear Alexi, you are now at 11 dice. Diff 8.
Actually, Austin, I think you're going to like this, because I actually think this is pretty cool. In order to just pit my difficulty down a little bit, I'm going to use the fact that basically I'm going to use the fact that other people are helping me intimidate. Basically, other people are squaring up, and I'm going to use the Bart command as a bunk, if that's okay, because I'm going to basically do Autumn 1 to make myself even more intimidating as I shout at her. Because I like the idea of getting a lower difficulty.
Subtle uses of this power lower the difficulty of all intimidation rolls by 1 per success rolled.
All right. So,
and I think we're technically in a freehold.
We are, and I'm targeting myself, which means phase my affinity roll. But sorry, continue also with what you're saying.
Go ahead. Roll roll Autumn Fae. Your difficulty, your bunk is only going to be worth 1 point, so it's 7 minus 1 is 6. Minus 1 for affinity.
Diff 5.
Diff 5.
Cool. So let's get this and see where we go, shall we? So that's going to be 5. So sorry. So that's 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. C6 F5.
Mhm. Oh, how many points of nightmare? Oh, Nelly.
It's just a straight fail,
Straight
unfortunately.
fail.
But yeah, well,
Waka.
Why is it?
No.
Why is it?
So now we'll try for the.
Hold on. Why is it a
Make-
straight fail and not a botch?
Because he has a successful dice showing.
Oh right. All right.
Because that
Mhm.
7 still counts as a total success.
Oh yeah, I forgot botches require there to be no successes cancelled.
Correct.
Right.
So you are
If that
still.
had been, I was going to say, if that had not been a success, it would have been a triple botch, which would have been hilarious.
I think you only lose a point of glamour, or is it more than that? I'm not sure.
Shenanigans
happen.
in Changeling. Shenanigans happen on botches.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So this is the intimidation roll that I spent a willpower on,
Yes.
plus the 3 dice from Anthony. 3 total success.
She and all of her heads, and all of the eyes, and all of the faces, and all of the teeth turn sternly to face you. And she throws all of the chimerical heads at your feet.
I was going to say, because, of course, Austin, this is my freehold, which means I think that there are certain rules when you're in somebody else's freehold.
No, your market is not your freehold. You did not declare that your market was your freehold.
This market just happens to be a freehold.
Okay, because we have been running with the fact that the market is freehold, but I'm fine. We'll do it.
Being a freehold and you being an owner of a freehold are entirely different kettles of fish. And also permanent dots on your sheet.
Yes, you see that the thing. Okay, we'll talk about it after the scene is done because I don't want to mess up the flow.
Well, after
Fine.
scene.
Yes. He will look down at the heads. Are these some of the heartless chimera heads?
Yes. Each and every one of them is.
He will look up at the. By the way, what language was it speaking?
It was making guttural noises.
Okay. He will look down at the heads and he will kind of knit his brow,
So something
contemplating.
strange.
Hmm?
Every one of these chimera that you have seen slain evaporated. How does this one have heads?
I don't know.
Because it's not dead.
Maybe.
If chimera evaporate eventually when they die,
Well,
presumably
these particular chimera.
Yeah, but that's presumably
Hmm.
a good reason for like, if it's not dead, it's just had bits lopped off. Because this thing's got multiple heads.
What's the name of the merfolk kingdom that's just off our shore? Because I remember the map. I know there is one.
Oh, look, it's bloody Atlantis.
There is a merfolk kingdom. It is it is one of those non-pronounceable tongues.
Okay. He will say.
Wait, I have not come up with a name for it.
That's fine. He will say, now then, there is no need for this violent display. We can talk about this in a civilized manner.
Austin, I would like to roll to activate naming one to be able to comprehend what's being spoken by all parties. because this thing's
Excellent.
just displayed it's speaking freaky speak.
Okay.
And-
You have. Let me look at your sheet.
So let's see.
You have the appropriate Fey realm. So
Yep.
Fey 4. To cover Ghislaine. So roll me. What is your bunk?
I'm not going to use a bunk because I can't think of one that would be appropriate,
Okay,
unless someone
so
has
then-
suggestions. Because I can't think of one.
So then your diff will be 7 minus 1 for Fey affinity. 6.
Yeah.
You can roll your naming plus Fey at diff 6. You can opt to turn the last 3 dice into nightmare dice to drop you down to diff 5.
No.
Yeah, 1.
I think I can manage it with a diff 6. Because I only need one
Okay.
success. Humping fuck! Yeah, that's a fail.
So nope.
Yep. I think it's safe to say that what the Baron might see is him attempt eyes
Magic.
shimmering for a second and then sputter.
It's like an engine backfires in his mouth out of magic, and it's just like rev, 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 plat, dead.
Yep. He looks
And
kind of perturbed.
the creature points at the dead heads, points at Alexei.
Austin.
Harold, do you want to try again?
Yep. Only this time I've thought of a bunk. I think.
Excellent.
He's
Okay.
he's going to be like the classic Englishman abroad and just say very loudly and very slowly,
Oh, God.
"We don't understand you. Do you speak English?"
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God.
give you 3 points for that because it made me laugh.
Right? Yeah, 3-point bunk. So I've gone from diff 6 to diff 3.
Yep.
A 7, a 10, a 10.
Yes.
I got 3 successes. So yes.
All right, you can understand this thing.
Right.
As the magic swirls around your mouth and trails along your jawline into your ears and floods your head, it goes from making ruckus sounds and vitriol and spite, and you hear, "The fuck is that doing in my land?"
And he's going to reply, presumably, like to Alexei, it's going to sound like the same garbled language as he says back. First of all, what do you mean that? Second of all, what do you mean your land?
Alexei will continue to hear the vitrolic, horrible gnashing sounds. Harold will hear these god-awful chimera, these things that come from this dry sea of forgotten dreams, these things that steal and rip and pillage and rape the oceans of all of its splendor. Pointing at the chimerical heads.
Do you have any idea what the fuck she's saying?
I think she's wondering why these chimera, pointing at the head, were in her oceans.
Oh, fuck.
Austin, he's going to say to her, like, why do you think it's his responsibility, pointing at the Baron? Just to get that piece of information.
Finally, somebody who can fucking talk to me. Somebody who doesn't run and doesn't try and fight me for the things that come out of my face. You know how long it's been since somebody tried to have an actual conversation with any of us. And Alexei, you will get, this thing is ragingly pissed off. Like, you were pretty sure a hurricane's a coming.
It must be Tuesday.
Austin, what is Alexei hearing whenever Harold is speaking to this thing? Is he hearing English or is he hearing?
I don't think your language changes. I think it's just the
Your
ability to
language
understand
does
it.
not. Your
Okay.
ability to... You are talking in English. It's talking in Garbledygook.
It's speaking Merfolk.
Yes.
That's a fair point. Why on earth does she bring it here to me? And yes, I'm assuming the gender of the weird fish thing.
It can understand you.
I know. That's why I'm asking Anthony.
Bear in mind, I've already asked Austin why does this Merfolk believe that it's Alexei's fault that these creatures have entered her oceans?
They come from the land. I'm looking for the ruler of the land. Someone who cannot control their own tides.
Unfortunately, there are chimera in this world, in this ocean of the sea, in this dry ocean, that are outside of the control of those who rule the land. It is part of the world, of this world.
Then the rulers here are inept.
Perhaps. But they are the best we have, I fear.
What on earth is she prattling on about?
I believe she thinks that our leaders on land are inept, my lord, on the basis that we aren't able to control our chimera.
Can you translate what I'm about to say?
Of course.
Thank you.
All right. Roll me good Sir Harold.
Yep.
I would like your for active translation.
I do intend on paraphrasing what he's saying because I expect it to be slightly offensive.
Okay.
So my plan is to try and rephrase it as politely and nicely as possible.
Charisma etiquette plus your 3 successes from naming.
Okay, so charisma plus etiquette plus 3. Okay.
Yes.
So that's 9 dice. At what diff?
Diff 7.
Okay. So ooh.
The
1,
gods
2,
fucking
3,
love all
4,
of you.
5, 6, 7.
Okay. Rant on, almighty Alexei.
Excellent. He will say, currently we are engaged in the process of solving this issue, as we are suffering as much as you are with these pesky, pint-sized dream thieves who are currently robbing us blind. I myself have been dispatched in order to see to it that a great collection, a storage of their ill-gotten dreams are returned from whence they came to those rightful owners. If these do indeed come from your oceans, then with any luck, when my mission is complete, the dreams may well be restored there as well.
Austin, do you
Any
want me to say anything?
substantial changes? Any substantial changes to what he said?
I think I will replace just the word pesky with the word wretched, because I
Okay.
think that will make her feel like we appreciate the magnitude of how problematic they are more, because pesky seems a bit like petty.
Okay. The creature responds, the one who speaks through magic, the one who can understand seems to speak. Tell your lord, tell your voice that these things do not just steal from the dreams of those around us, of those people who are lost at sea, of sailors, of some mariners. These creatures rip the dreams from the ocean. Every chimerical storm, the tides, the manta, those creatures that exist only in thought are weakened and destroyed and harmed by these things that invade our lands. Things that have come from the dry into the wet.
Austin, he's going to take, like, his hand is definitely, like, up until this point, he's had his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. He's going to take it off, take a step forward, and say to her, these creatures carry a taint of banality, then. If they are destroying that which is purely of the dreaming.
Grey, cold things that come from the land invade us. That sicken the ocean, that dim the tides, that
Destroy is
muddy the
not.
waters.
He will say to Harold, destroy is not the correct verb. They don't destroy, they harvest. They take, as opposed to destroying.
With respect, my lord, to her there is no difference. To her
No, but
kind, there is no difference.
I'm making the point of clarification to you, as you're the one who mentioned the forces of banality, which they are not.
She is referring to them as grey things. I believe she believes them to be a force of banality.
He shrugs. Though this is interesting. Very interesting. Ask her where did she kill these three, he'll say, nudging. Sorry, there were either three. No, there are four. Ask her where did she kill these four, he'll say, nudging the head with his boot.
Where did you find these things? Where have they laid their nests?
She'll point at two of the generic, kind of like black-bodied ones with yellow eyes. Those two in the water, swimming like shadows, draining the dreams of fishes and the hearts of sailors. She'll point to the ones that look like knights. These were harvested from a gray ship underwater, filled with dozens of men who sustain us. And she'll point to the one with the pink-covered face with yellow eyes. This haunted the skies above the straits, breaking the dreams of travel.
May
Austin,
I make...
hang on just a second. Austin, I have a theory. So
You need to rely on his information.
Yeah. He's going to say, So these creatures have come from the land and then found their nesting place in the seas or the skies above them. In which case, it is difficult for us unless we can find the place from whence they first emerge.
You've gotten it slightly backwards, I think. That's interesting.
How so?
Well, I think that it might not be necessarily that they came from the land and went to the sea. I think it might be the other way around, because we've been able to ascertain where the cache, we believe, of these stolen dream stuffs is. And lo and behold, they're keeping it in an aquarium underwater.
Austin, is this merfolk like quite visibly female from our perspective?
As far as you can tell, they fit the female body type and stereotype, and
Very well.
it would be a safe
Yeah.
They are. I will give you this without a gray mare check because of your house. Merfolk are super alien to you. They don't necessarily conform to any kind of norms, but I mean,
All right.
female would be a safe assumption.
Is there a title that they normally would go by, like the equivalent of sir or madam or lord or lady?
That is beyond your scope of knowledge.
Bugger. Right. My lord here says that he and those who work at it, who stand with him, have found this cache, this store of the stolen dream stuff, held in an aquarium. For that reason, he believes the creatures begin in the sea and may have simply crossed through the land.
It and all of its various heads snarl.
I merely repeat what he says.
Are nothing like the things that come from the sea. These are far worse. These do things unakin to what the eyes and the tides and the flow. These are creatures of cold, and they steal. They do not feast, they do not feed, they do not harvest. They steal and they wreck and they ruin.
In that case, and he turns to Alexei and says, "Who has dominion over the aquarium, my lord?"
Oh my god. Austin, this is genius. She said he wanted me to make it messy, and I wouldn't be dirtying my hands to do it. Hi, this is gonna get bad. Who has dominion? It's Baron Fiona, isn't it?
I don't know.
Quentin Lionthorn, Ap Fiona, under
Count Baylor. I can't remember the actual name.
Cameron Marsden at Baylor.
Yes, that would be Baron. That would be. It's the Fiona barony.
In that case, he'll say, turning back to the
What is
merfolk,
okay.
the one over whom the aquarium where these dreams were last seen stored, where these creatures seem to be hiding their reserves, falls under the control of a Fiona barony. With your consent, if you will give us time, we will raise the question with them. This need not escalate. If we can find a means of preventing these things from being able to store their reserves here, they may be forced to keep them where your people, where your folk can destroy them. And there may even be a chance of returning the dream stuff to you.
She closes the gap from the distance that she was away to she is not quite nose to nose with you.
Is she using Wayfair, or is she just really, really fast?
Just real fast.
Right.
Just goes from there to boom.
Big fish.
Big fish. And all of the various eel heads are swimming around you. And they will not quite snap, but the eyes, like flotsam and jetsam, will drift by you and over you and around you, and they will snap. Tell me, this aquarium, what is it? Why does he think we are responsible?
He says,
enjoy telling a merfolk what an aquarium is.
Oh, yeah. He'll say, it is a structure built by mortal kind in which they take...
Head tilts to the side.
Humans. They take a vast amount of water and they fill a vessel.
Eyebrow up.
Think of a boat when it sinks. It fills with water where there was none before. Now imagine
Head goes to the other side.
Now imagine such a thing held on dry land. Inside that water, they place creatures of the sea and of the oceans and the rivers and the lakes, so that other mortals may look upon them and see what the oceans contain.
How does Alexei respond to this description?
He is going to do what I will lovingly refer to as the... I coined this phrase in the previous scene with his count. Varich dead face. There is no emotion. There is no clarity. There is no confirmation or denial. He is, however, getting ready to jump backwards when the feasting begins because he thinks that's imminent.
Oh yeah, I'm doing my best, Austin, to word this as this is mortal doing. This is nothing to do with changelings. So that if she's angry, she can be angry at the mortals.
The land of men, of prisons for the water. They have things that contain and trap our creatures, our subjects, our servants, and put them on display.
Mortal kind has built hideous things. I have seen and heard of places where they imprison their own kind. It is not outside of their normal pattern of behavior to imprison those of greater stature than themselves.
We should have continued to feast on their hearts long ago.
Austin, considering how much of a loaded gun this creature is, and considering what Anthony is doing, we're coming perilously close to him accidentally breaking the Ashit by proxy. Because I get the distinct impression this thing is pissed like AF, right?
Oh, it's not happy. It's not happy at all.
Oh yes, but the thing is, like, I can't prevent it from choosing to act, and the thing is, like,
you were opting to translate things that really didn't need to be translated. But it's okay. We're going to continue rolling with it.
The creature wanted someone who would speak to it.
Yeah, and we could have sent it to Fiona.
But, well, I was going to, and then it asked what an aquarium was.
Alexei kind of... Basically, how they were facing. So he was standing at the head of a little pyramid because he has his troll bodyguard with him. Then Anthony took up the other side of him. So basically, in order to get
Correct.
to face with Anthony, she has to stand about
She's essentially standing parallel
Mhm.
to
I'm going to take
face
I'm going to take
Harry.
a few steps back so I can re-angle myself so she's not directly flanking me, basically.
Hmm.
But
As you
I'm
move,
gonna.
several of the eel heads look in your direction.
That's fine. I'm gonna let this clusterfuck continue.
Yep.
Why do you think? Because they store things where men cannot breathe that we are responsible, and these come from us.
That is not what I believe. That is merely the suspicion of my lord. If he is wrong,
All
then he is
eyes
wrong.
on Alexei. All of them. There are dozens of them.
What did it say?
She wanted to know why it was that we took, or rather, my lord, that you took the presence of the dream cache within an aquarium to indicate that meant things of her nature were responsible.
I can give you 3 good reasons if you'd like.
Very well.
Or if she would like. 1. Every time
Yes.
that we have encountered these entities, he points down at the heads. When they have been killed, they have evaporated, turned to mist. They have not physically stayed. The difference here being is where these ones were killed. They were killed in the environment in which I believe it is their natural environment, thus they retain. This seems a reasonable assumption to make. Also, why is it that they would seek water in order to place their cache of dream stuff? There are many places that are more secure, more secret, but they chose one that contains. Actually, awesome, very important question. And based on the research I've been doing, I can ask this question. Is the tank that they place them in, the main tank, is it salt water or fresh water?
It's saltwater.
Thank you.
It is a saltwater tank. It is about 45 feet deep. The cache was at the bottom of the tank.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Why would they choose to place it in a saltwater aquarium when there are much easier places to store it, unless that is in fact where they are most inherently comfortable? And also, he says as he kind of lets the eyes dart around, looking at the various different kind of phenomenon, these creatures seem to have issues, or rather flexibility when it comes to the physical form. Darkness, dark water. It seems to me to be a fitting element of the story, and oftentimes stories in this matter are important.
Okay. He will say, Harold will say, my lord believes.
Do you change?
No, I'm going to
Okay.
say what he says. He says, my lord seems to believe that since when the creatures were slain, they retained their nature or evaporated, depending upon whether or not they were slain in water, that seems to be their most natural environment. He also believes that they are most comfortable in a body of water, given that that is where they have chosen to hide their cache, in a saltwater body some 45 mortal feet deep. And furthermore, and this, I confess, is something I find less tenable, but he said it, and so I will repeat it. He believes that the story, as he puts it, is best served, or at least would be most appropriate, if dark shadows were placed and associated with dark waters.
All of the heads will look at Harold, and then look at Alexei, and back to Harold, and back to Alexei. Do you think that maybe these creatures chose a location not because it was hospitable or easy for them, but perhaps it was difficult for you and the things that walk on your dry sea? Do you think that maybe they chose that because you and yours can't breathe underwater, where shadows and darkness haunt? That is no different than your... It snarls, cities and alleys. It's dark rooms and confined chambers. How are they different?
The thought had occurred to me. But I speak only as his mouthpiece. His words, I translate. But you are right. There isn't really a difference, except that one is full of water and the other is not.
You have prisons and jails filled with air, covered in shadows, secreted away from people, from prying eyes. We have the same. What is there more fear of? The dark or the endless depths? It makes sense for them, creatures of nightmare and cold, to hide the treasures in places where mortals and angels fear to tread.
Indeed. As I say, the
There
thought
are...
had occurred to me.
Ultimately, one way or other.
Perhaps let your voice box. Looking at it looks from Harold over to Alexei. The one who moves his mouth. It makes no sense.
Very well. And Austin, I'm aware this is potentially hazardous, but he's going to show trust, because this creature clearly is someone who hasn't had any real trust placed in her by land creatures in a very long time. Hasn't been treated like a person by creatures of the land for a long time. So he's going to stand and turn his back to her. I know her heads are all around me, but his back is to her main face. And he's going to say, she makes the point,
Alexei, you can see a very definitive look of the fuck.
Yep. He's going to say, my lord, the fact she makes the point that the creatures may only be hiding the things in the water in order to ensure that we cannot get to them easily, that mortal kind cannot get to them easily. Not necessarily because they are, well, creatures of the water.
Once again, there's another very nonchalant shrug, and his response is, ultimately, we don't have answers. I'm merely stating possible potentialities. She has no more evidence that they don't. We have no answers as of yet, so at the moment we are currently postulating. However, we are postulating politely.
He turns, asking, does she still have the what the fuck face?
Yes.
He's going to try and completely ignore that and just say, my lord, seems to believe that you have no more evidence to support your theory than he does to support his.
It tilts its head. All of it looks, and the various eels look over towards Alexei, and the main face looks at you, Harry.
Just wait for a reply.
These things come from no dream of the sea. These things came in from the shore. They marched in force. They destroyed our corals, ate our groves, infested our grottos, took our light, destroyed the tides. These came from the land.
He will repeat that by basically, he will just say, "My lord," she said, and he'll repeat it word perfect.
Okay.
Because I'm going to let Alexei deal with this one.
He stopped caring at this point. As it stands, he is like, well, the thing currently isn't isn't disrupting trade anymore. So my level of care for this entire situation's gone out the window.
Oh, don't tempt me, Evan. Do not tempt me to say the words I know would prompt her.
What?
Austin.
Okay.
He's going to look up at the creature as if he's going to go, yes, I remember one other thing. He's going to look over his shoulder at Alexei and just say, "My lord also, I believe, requests that you be a little more," and I use his precise word here, "polite in your interactions with him."
I didn't actually say anything, Anthony, but I'm entirely fine with this.
You said that we were we were postulating politely, which implies that you want
No. I said
polite.
that was. No. That was me speaking out of character, my dear. I said that his body.
That's fine. We'll run with this.
Okay. I'm fine with running with it.
It snorts. Get the garbage out of my queen's land, and we can talk politely. Every day this goes on. Every day the land continues to pollute the dreams of the ocean and disrupt the tides and flow. Seas grow darker and dimmer. The cold sets in, and that weakens the barrier and invites them in. Eventually, the fight will come to your shores.
My lord, I believe she asks that we, or rather that the people of the land, stop polluting the dreams of the sea.
Very good. And I'll just give her King David's crown. We'll all go and dance under the sea in Taranar, shall we?
He will repeat that verbatim.
At which point I'm going, okay.
Because, that's the sort of thing that's going to get you in trouble. I'm not parsing my way out of this one.
No, it's just that there is going to be an interesting letter sent to your baron involving the phrase, "When did House Eileen of the Secret Keepers not understand sarcasm?"
Who the fuck is David? Where the fuck is Taranar?
he's going to say, High King David is our, I believe, effective supreme leader.
That's the American.
Yeah, but basically everyone answers to High King David, as I understand it. Ultimately.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
In Concordia.
In
Right.
Concordia.
In that case,
He's the High King of
rephrase.
Concordia.
Rephrase. He'll say he is the supreme leader of another realm called Concordia, distant from this place. As to what a crown, did she ask what's a crown? Austin?
It was who is and where is.
All right.
Yeah.
He'll also, and he'll say Taranar is his seat of power. The place from which he rules.
You send me to another kingdom to address a problem here. You send me to other lands and other seas to address a problem here. Apparently, the land is inefficient. We will deal with this. We will hunt down this prison.
Would it be amenable to you, or perhaps just beneficial to your folk, if you had a guide to this place, to this aquarium?
Now, okay. He is just going to, you know what? Fuck it. Fine, continue.
Well, she's going to do it anyway. At least this way we get to be in on it and actually prevent her exposing herself unnecessarily.
You are the one you speak for. We will come and you will show us this prison.
As you say. And he'll bow his head slightly.
We are done here. And they turn and walk away.
Once she's out of sight. Well, that's that problem solved for the next 5 minutes. He's going to then walk right past Alexei, go to where the vodka is, and shot it.
That's pretty much what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Alexei, you'll see him scribble a note on a piece of paper. He'll be at it for about 2 or 3 minutes. He hands the note to the troll and dismisses him with a kind of a curt few words in Slovak, as it were.
Since I believe I still have naming 1 up, which I think means I can understand him.
You can only understand. The realm you used was for the merfolk, not for Alexei.
All right. Would I need Fae 5 or something to understand Alexei?
No, you need a much lower degree of faith.
Fae 2. But you didn't cast it to understand Alexei. You cast it to understand the merfolk.
I'd have to use seen, wouldn't I?
You would either seen and also another level of Fae to understand the both of them. Realms are weird.
Yeah, I would have thought Fae 4 meant Fae 4 and everything below it.
We will discuss later off camera.
Right, yeah.
So, as it goes to leave, you see some issue try to accost it, and before you can prevent it from happening, tendrils of water erupt from the ground, and they are very much cephalopod and squid-shaped, and it drowns the issue to the point of chimerical death, and it just keeps walking.
Okay, I have a really
the issue
important...
did have a weapon. The issue had a weapon and tried to be all big, brave, brash issue and be like, "I'm gonna kill the monster," and
I
it
have a question.
very nonchalantly was, "Thwomp."
Austin, do I, at this point in time, because somebody has died chimerically, admittedly, do I have to intercede? Like, is this expected of me?
It would be a political incident.
Does this freehold count as being in the near dreaming?
No.
Right. I was checking to see if chimerical death was if it in this case would also meant literal death, because it.
No, it does not mean actual death.
Right, because depending on what Evan does, I may have to act as well.
But it came running out with a big old sword and tried to murder this thing, and this thing was like,
"You know what?
You're beneath me."
This thing does not get to murder someone. Admittedly, the issue was a fucktard, but this thing, you know what? Fuck this bitch! This is Russia! It's not, but that's neither here nor there.
This is Hibernia!
Okay, what do you do?
Austin,
what do you do?
You know how your players make you drink?
Yeah?
Well, we're about to make you drink.
Okay, Austin, just want to point something out. Whatever he's doing, I'm just going to calmly walk over, and as I understand it, this is how it works, and just basically hand on shoulder of Eshu, spend point of glamour, he should wake up, be restored from chimerical death, as I understand it.
Okay. What does Alexi do?
I'm currently looking up what Gios does.
Yeah, because all I want to do is like help that issue back into the dreaming, because it's polite.
Because I'm Austin, I have an idea, and it might like, basically, you're right. We're at the point of diplomatic incident here, aren't we?
There could be, depending on what you do, will depend on how bad the diplomatic incident goes.
Well, it's already murdered someone. I mean, okay, that depends. Do we view chimerical death as a really bad thing?
Chimerical death is not a violation of the Ashit,
since it's actually quite easy to be brought back from if someone's willing to help.
Yes,
right.
It is. You still gain
not a violation of right, but it is not a violation of right to life. It is not a violation of any of the other tenets. You could claim you can act under right to rescue. You could claim act to right under right of domain. But ultimately you are dealing with a even comparatively far more alien and far more foreign creature who does not hold the same viewpoints. Your these things
that's fair.
are not quite. They fight the Fomorians probably far more often than you do, and they probably hold certain ones of them back.
Okay, yeah, you know what? From Alexi's perspective, this has gotten, basically the letter he wrote was essentially to his count, because his count's the political one. So she always wants to scheme. So by gum, I'm going to give her something to scheme about. but he's going to let it go. He kind of crushes. He basically crushes the vodka cup in his hand, or the vodka glass in his hand. Reefing his hand, something shocking, but doesn't seem to notice the pain as he just kind of literally anger crushes the glass.
Varric.
What was that, sorry?
I said, ooh, a Varric feeling angry.
Yep. And after angry, we get vengeful. We've got 2 modes, Austin.
Yes.
It's okay, though. It's not like the Varric can hold a grudge the entirety of the Slew of Kith.
Not at all.
But cool. With that in mind, I think, are we good to call it scene here, guys?
Not going to do anything else?
I don't think so, except I am going to go back to my freehold when this is over and write a report to my own Baron regarding today's events and explain that in order to avoid further incident, I offered to guide the to provide a guide. Well, actually, no. I didn't even offer to provide a guide. I asked if a guide would be suitable, and she took it to mean that we would guide her. I therefore will ask my Baron's permission to guide her, and if he does not wish me to guide her, does he wish me to allow this to escalate further?
All right, so I'm going to boot the button. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.